Hi, I'm Tim, and this is Timberway Designs. In this series of videos, I make cabochons out of rocks that I find or purchase. This week I got a piece of Orbicular Jasper. Let's make a cabochon. So here's today's project. This is a piece of Orbicular Jasper, if I said that right. And the only reason I'm saying orbicular is because I don't know exactly what kind of jasper this is. I put it out to the viewers when I introduced this in the last video, and I got back poppy jasper and cobra jasper. And the only thing I'm not sure about is when I looked up those two, I didn't see any with the white circles on them like that right there. So I'm not positive if either one of those two match. I mean, they look really close, and it could be, you know, because rocks vary so much. So this is going to be the front right here. I'm trying to determine, because there's a lot of fractures and pits on the back side, and I don't really want those in the finished product, but I would like to get this piece up here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1-inch rectangle. I'm going to get it right up in the corner here. And I'm hoping that I won't grind away the detail on the other side. So there is what I'm going to do, and then hopefully that'll show up there. So just get an idea how pretty this stuff is. We'll get it wet right here. Look at that. That is gorgeous. So we're going to head downstairs, grind it down to, or trim it on trim saw, and then we'll grind it down to the lines in the caber, and then we'll get set up and make a cabochon out of it. We're down here on my 5-inch high-tech trim saw. Not my favorite, but it does the job. So I'm going to trim this out of this piece of jasper here. Okay, that didn't take too long. I'm not going to cut it any closer than that. Now we're going to take it over to the caber and grind it down to the edges, and then we'll put a dop stick on it. All right, we moved over here to my 6-inch Kingsley North cabbing machine here. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to grind it down to the lines here. This light adjusted, there we go. I'm going to grind it down the lines. I'm going to start with the 80 grit, then I'll move over with the 220 grit, and then I'll polish it up the marks off the 220 grit with the 280 grit. So let's fire this up. Well, that didn't take too long on the 80 grit because I cut it really close on the trim saw. So let's move over to the 220 grit. Okay, remember now we're dealing with a radius here, so don't stop and push in or you're going to get a flat spot and they're really hard to get out. So just keep moving your stone until you grind it down to the line. Alright, I'm happy with that. Now we're running over on the 280 and finish it up, and I got the dot pot heating up, and we'll get it ready to go to make cab out of it. Alright, I think that's far enough for me. Seeing a lot of fractures and cracks in this thing, which is really unfortunate because it's so pretty. Alright, I'll go flip it on the dot pot and we'll be back. Alright, got this all dopped up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grinding on this top edge right here. And I'm going to grind it down to about 1/8 of an inch and leave a 1/8 inch, 2 millimeter-ish flat spot along the bottom here. And I'm coming in probably about this angle right here. And then when I get that established, I'm going to go in and I'm going to work my way towards the center here as far as I feel like I need to go. And then once that's done, then we'll start putting a dome on it. So let's get going. So we'll start with the 80 grit, get our shape, and then start doming it, and then we'll move to the 220 and then the 280 and then on to the polishing side. Okay, I've established my girdle. You can see the angle I cut into it. Now, I'm going to go back on the 80 grit and I'm going to start working on this angle here, working my way towards the center. Stay away from the bottom now because you've already established that. You don't want to grind into this on the bottom of your girdle anymore. Okay, I got that. You could keep working towards the center, but I'm far enough where I feel comfortable going ahead and starting to girdle it. So I'm gonna, girdle it, starting to dome it. So I'm gonna start doming it on 80 grit. Look at the pits on that right there. That's not good. I don't think I can grind them out of there either. And we had a break off anyways. I got to think about this for a minute. I didn't think there'd be it'd be all pitted up like that. All right, let me think about this and we'll come back. Okay, we're back. So I was started with this one here and it broke off the stick, but it got so much porosity in it. I'm not gonna. I was gonna throw it away, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. But I'm not gonna. This won't be the series rock now. I've changed rock. So I went and cut off another piece and I tried to avoid all the porosity that don't have the white spot that I wanted, because I kind of wanted that, but not with all this porosity around it. So I went ahead and I put the girdle in this one. I made my first cut, made my second cut, and now I'm ready to start doming it. So we'll start with the 80 grit, get the dome established, stay out of the girdle because you already established that. We'll move to the 220 and then we'll move to the 280. And then we'll move on to the polishing side. Alright, kind of happy with that. Get a little more of the cut out of here. There. Alright, I'm going to move on to the 220 grit. Alright, liking that. Let's move on to the 280 grit. Yeah, I'm finding there's a lot of soft spots and hard spots in the stone here. But I think that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to shut you off and move you over to the polishing side. Okay, we're all set up on the polishing side here. And I'm going to take this and we'll start at 600, go to 1200, 3000, and then I got a cerium oxide disc around the corner here. So let's get going. Alright, move on to 1200. looking good. We're going to go on to the 3000. All right, I'm kind of curious what kind of shine I got going here. Yeah. Not too bad. Now there's some soft spots. That red stuff in the middle there is kind of soft. I've noticed that. But yeah, we'll run it around the corner on the cerium oxide and see if we can get a little bump on the shine here. So I'm going to shut you off. Move you. Okay, we're all set up on the cerium disc here. And let's see what we can do with this cabochon. Oh, got to put my splash guard in place. The thing flicks water all over the lure. All right, I'm curious. Try it off here and see what we got. Not too bad. That's okay. Oh, come on. Now, the lighting's not the best right here. So, yeah. So I'm going to take this upstairs. I'm going to put it in the freezer, and then we'll get it off the dock, and then we'll take a good look at it. Now, I had some questions a viewer sent asking about the cerium disc here. This is a cerium oxide disc that screws into the end of this here, and it's smooth, and it's really smooth, but it's impregnated with it. And then this disc can be taken off, and I got spares. You just heat it up with like a hairdryer or something. You peel it off, then you stick the new one on. And it just screws into the end of this here. I like this because it's not messy at all. It lasts quite a while. Usually you'll see it wearing on this edge, right, kind of in the middle here. So I try to move it around and then you got irrigation here to keep it lubricated so you don't rip a big hole in it. And I've had really good luck with this thing, so I like it better. I had a setup for using powdered stuff, but this is so much better. So that's one of the things I like about this cabber. So we're back upstairs, and I got a pretty decent cabochon out of what's left of my little tiny slab here. We'll flip the camera around and we'll take a closer look at this guy. So this is all I had left of my my piece of orbicular jade or jasper. I cut the first piece, and actually I finished the cab on it, and I wanted that, but it was so porous along the bottom right there, and then all along right there you can see all the stuff. I mean, and it shined really good, but that I was kind of after that look there, but I didn't like all the holes and pits and everything on the bottom there. So then I went back to what was left of my slab, and I cut another piece, and this one come out a lot more solid, and it's got a pretty good pattern. I wanted the white. Really wanted the white around the red circle there. And I found out this red circle is quite soft. So yeah. So I made two cabs, but this one here is not the one I want to keep. This is the one. So it's a pretty good pattern. Took a really good shine. So there's the front. There's the back. A lot of fractures in it, but I don't know. I'm going to have to say this one was pretty good. Maybe someday I'll find another piece that's a little more solid and a little more decorative. Yeah, there you go. That's the cab. So you got to watch my process where I take a slab, or rough rock, in this case it was a little slab, and I made a nice looking little cabochon. Actually I made them two nice looking little cabochons, but this one is the best one right here. So next week we got a piece of blue lace agate. I bought at a rock show. Actually, the guy knew what it was, and it was pretty easy to look up. But I've made a cabochon. This is the other half of a little slab I had, and it made a really gorgeous cabochon, so this should be very interesting. So, I want to thank the subscribers. Really appreciate it. Over 17K. We're getting up there. And all the viewers that come in and watch my content. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's down below, right there in the bottom down there. Just click on that. It's totally free. And then slide over, give me a thumbs up, share it, push the bell button to get notified. And then there's a hype feature on mobile devices. If you slide over underneath the video part, press hype, and it's kind of like an analytic. It gets my information out there so more people can find this content. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy making them. This video comes out every Saturday morning. It will be a different rock every time, and I'll go through all the steps how I make a cabochon. So if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you got a question on making a cabochon or anything, I read all the comments right now because I don't have like gazillions of them, and I really appreciate the comments. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.